Welcome to the Healing Spirits Here and There podcast with Terri and Amanda, where you'll hear spiritual perspectives, weird mediumship experiences, and try intuitive and trust-building exercises for yourself. Join us every Friday. Like and subscribe to never miss a show, and let's get started.
Good morning. Happy Friday. Thanks for joining us again. I'm Terri Strauss.
I'm Amanda. Today, we're going to be talking about clairalience. And yes, apparently that is how you say it, or some people say it like this, clairalience, whatever. But I've heard it both ways. I don't know. And we're also going to be answering some viewer questions. So we've talked about clairalience before, but we're going to go in depth and then do an exercise with each other and you guys. So Terri, do you want to tell us what clairalience is?
That is smelling, and there shouldn't be any explanation. If you could smell and you smell something and no one's around, then chances are you're getting a sign.
Mm-hmm.
Perfume, different smells, flowers, cigarette smoke. I think we kind of covered it before, but like you said, we haven't did an exercise. And we're going to try to do that kind of a Wonka vision. Only not a
That's
vision,
right.
a Wonka smell.
A Wonka smell. Wonka smell. So yeah, we did talk about it before. We told some stories about clear smelling, but yeah, we didn't go in depth like we will today to make sure everybody gets to practice. So like Terri said, clairalience is the clear smelling. And we have some examples. You may do this already or be, this might be a natural thing for you and you don't even realize it. So we have a little list here. Number one sign you have this clair is you are one of those people who are a super smeller. Your sense of smell is heightened, just like pregnant ladies. It's terrible or great, depending on the situation. Right. Being a super smeller literally stinks. Literally. But anyways, are you a super smeller, Terri?
I am a super smeller, but I can't do it in every reading. But we've talked a few of the ones that I have done. It's just not my modality. But in real life, if there's something that's not right, I can smell it, especially with cars.
Oh, really? But I mean, do you have a heightened sense of smell?
Yeah, I really do feel like I do. I do.
Yeah.
I think definitely. I'll smell things that people don't smell.
Yeah. I have a pretty decent sense of smell, but I'm not like over the top super smeller. When I was pregnant, of course, that sense did heighten and I could smell lots of things that I didn't want to smell. So I'm glad it kind of, went back down.
I'd have to go way back to get that memory. It's not things I would have thought about smelling in the 80s.
Right.
We're open to these things now.
Right. And number two, you might smell things that nobody else seems to notice, or they don't smell what you're smelling. And you're like, when you do that, I know I've done that. I'm like, oh my God, don't you smell that oil smell or whatever? And people are like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I recently just told one of the guys that came to fix a car window for our son. And I said, you have radiator problems? And the guy looked at me like, no. And I said, yeah, you got something going on with your radiator. I could smell it. And they're walking around their car smelling it. And they're just thinking, I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking, but I smelt it.
Smelt it or smelled it? I am that person. I did just ask you that.
I smelled it. I didn't dealt it.
Because there's anyways, I won't bore everyone with my whatever. Number 3, you get sneezing attacks.
Not me.
That's a sign that you have clairalience. I was reading about it a little bit. It said sneezing attacks could be a way for your friends and spirit or loved ones to get a hold of you if for some reason that's the sense that maybe is strong for you, and they're just trying to give you some type of message. I have not had that happen where I feel like that's a message for me, but doesn't mean it doesn't happen to somebody else.
No, I can't see it like that, but I have done it in readings and out of readings, but it's not one of my huge modalities.
Gotcha. Yeah, totally. It's really, I mean, we're talking about it, but it's really an uncommon clair for to be anybody's strongest. I would say
Right.
it's not one of the normal ones.
No, that's right up there with taste too. Not a lot of people taste through every reading or taste all the
Yeah.
time. They're the, I don't know. I think those are the golden ticket ones if you want to
Yeah.
say that.
Yeah. And I mean, during a reading, there might be a reason that spirit is giving you smell over visual or feel or know. It could be, something really terrible happened, and maybe it's traumatic if you see it. Maybe it's traumatic if you feel it, and so maybe smelling something that gives validation or confirms something might be less harsh on you than one of the other clairs. So, and that might be why it doesn't happen all the time, because it's not the clearest for information wise, depending on the situation. But in some cases, it might be appropriate, and spirit always tends to give messages, I feel like, in the most loving way to you that isn't going to be terrible for you. At least that's what I've found personally. And then number 4 sign that you might have clairalience is that you have literally smelled, say, like perfume of somebody that has passed away, where you know that you're smelling something and the person isn't here or whatever isn't present in front of you, and you're smelling something.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe this has actually just happened to you before.
Yeah, I've smelled wet dirt and the person was a gardener.
Oh, cool.
Wet dirt, so that one was nice. Smelling the wet dog, that wasn't so nice.
Yeah. So then we have some ways that you can practice clairalience. We're going to do an exercise, but we're just going to talk about some things that you can do, of course, to exercise this clair muscle. Excuse me, maybe that was a sign from above. Just kidding. I hiccup a lot sometimes. It's very odd. Like, started back in middle school, just hiccup. But I do it way less now.
Add up and see what the spiritual meaning of a hiccup is.
There you go. So number 1, Terri, if you want to share this way to practice, is with what you do.
Yes, it's like just put stuff in the same type of, well, I don't care what you put it in, is if you blindfold your person. Let's just say you're at home and you have grandkids, or you have kids, or you have a husband, or you have a friend who wants to play. Then you just go, they can gather from their house and bring over, or they can rummage through your cupboards, and you just put blindfolds on, and then you just go through with it. I wouldn't let them hold it because sometimes they can tell by that, but just different scents. And I would take the scents from one extreme to another. Like example, coffee beans or like cinnamon or cloves. Those are strong. I wouldn't give a cinnamon and then give a clove. I would.
Right, that's confusing.
Yeah, that would be confusing, but they might get it, and then just have them write down or say out loud what they think it is.
Okay, so you're saying do this with a partner, either blindfold them or have them blindfold you and put different smells in front of you and try and identify what those smells are, just to kind of exercise your smelling.
Right, that's what we were doing. Now we're going to do it through the tablet.
Yeah, that's okay. We'll do it. We'll get there. Number 2, if you want to work out this smelling muscle, is to avoid smoking or doing anything that might dull your sense of taste or smell. So that's just
that if someone has really bad allergies, I would think they're not going to smell at all.
yeah, that could be.
My husband has bad allergies, and I always say, "Do you smell that?" And he says no. But then again, I ask him, "Can he hear that?" And he says no. So that's because he
There you go.
puts me on his desk.
Let's see. And number 3, a way you can practice is for you to imagine smelling something while it's not in front of you. Like, for example, an orange. Try to imagine smelling the scent of an orange without it being there and see how you do. I've never tried that before, so we could try that. So what we're going to do for you today is we are going to smell something. I'll smell something. I'll hide it so you can't see what it is. And then just energetically try and tune into me. So it's not, I mean, it would still be with your nose, but not the same as if it was in person. But try to just tune in energetically and see if you smell anything. Kind of make a mental note. What?
Your psychic nose.
Yeah, using your psychic nose. And Terry's going to do it too. So I have 2 things, and I think Terri has 2 things, and we can take turns and you all can participate. So do you want to go first or you want me to go first?
I need one more thing, so someone to bring me. I have one, but I'll go. Never mind. Thank you. I'm going to go first. I can't hold it up too high because then you're going to see it. Oh, maybe I could do this. Okay.
Okay, hold on. I'm not ready. Okay, everybody, This is test number 1. We're going to do it together. Terri's going to smell it and then put out the vibe for us to try and smell it too. All right. Will you smell it again? I didn't try it. All right. I'm trying. I feel so silly right now. Okay. I just feel like leafy, like it's something leafy or green or
really
good.
That was good.
Okay. Leafy green. Okay, that's all I got. Jot down what you think, guys, and Terri will reveal to us what she has.
I have dill.
Oh, okay, cool.
This is very green, and it is leafy.
Hey. Okay, I have something. All right, Terri, you're going to tune in.
Okay.
Nose itch. Oh. All right, I'm going to hold it in my hands. Okay, test number 2, guys. Try and tune in to what we got here, and I'm going to smell it.
I don't know, but the first thing that came to my mind was floral scent.
Okay. It is. Are you ready for me to reveal the answer?
My first one, I kind of was going to go with cinnamon or clove, something like that. But then I feel like I want to reference the flower. So go ahead. I'm okay to be wrong.
Okay. It is spearmint. So it is minty, but honestly, it's not like, it could be kind of flowery. If we were in person, you could smell it and see what you think.
Oh, I would have told you right away what it is if my nose was there. Okay, one more for you.
Okay.
Okay. Ready?
Okay. Um, something woody, woodsy. Let me try again. Let me see. Brown. I don't know. Something brown.
Oh, that's funny because what's in my hand is brown that I'm smelling it off of. But
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. Okay.
it
What is it?
it's a cinnamon candle. But this was brown, but it's a cinnamon candle.
Oh, cinnamon. Okay. That's not
Oh,
really woodsy.
I guess the cinnamon stick is brown.
Yeah, it was brown like a tree, and then kind of woodsy is kind of what I
Look at
saw and
you go.
smelled.
Look at you go through
Hey,
Wonka smell.
hey. All right, I got one more for you. All right, guys, last smelling test. I'm gonna
Okay.
hide this. Okay.
Oranges, citrusy.
I think it's kind of citrusy.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if this could be considered a citrus.
What did I get?
It is basil. I just grabbed some oils because
Mm,
they're so potent.
basil. I wouldn't know. I
It's
don't think
slightly.
that's citrusy.
So
Wow.
you
I
guys,
don't
if
think.
any of you tried that, comment if what smells you got.
Right. You did really good at that. But I was like massively smelling deep and sending it to you. That's kind of like off subject, but we were playing that card game about sending the color.
Yeah.
Yeah, this might be a fun thing to try when you're online with somebody too.
Yeah, do it with your friends. You never
That's
know.
almost
It also, what did you say?
that's almost like telepathy, like reading what I'm saying.
Yeah, so for me, honestly, most of it was visual, but
Mm.
some of it there was a little bit of smell, but mostly like with the cinnamon stick, like what I said earlier is I saw brown and then like a tree, which made me think wood. So it wasn't really the cinnamon smell as much as it was seeing the brown tree. So I thought it might be woodsy smell.
But double hit because the brown lid was in my hand that you did not see. And that is
Mm,
part of that is the wooden thing is part of a tree. It's balsa wood to be honest. And
gotcha.
but the cinnamon stick is brown and like that. I get that. I don't
Yeah.
care.
So, but yeah, just a fun thing to practice. You could definitely do that with your friends.
Right.
Oh, I got a chill. I'm cold.
Does that mean
It's
your
because
friends are
it's cold in my room, though. It's just really cold in here. So now I know that we want to go over some viewer questions. So I'm going to read the question. And first question, Terry, what is your opinion of the afterlife?
well, my opinion is I just think that it is what it is, what you want it to be. You ever seen the movie What Dreams May Come with Robin Williams?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think heaven's like. And I think it's what we want it to be. And if anybody has seen the movie, that his wife paints, so everything is in acrylics, everything is painted, the water, the
Mm,
house, trees. I think if you want a house, you get a house. If you want a body, you get a body. If you know what I mean.
mhm.
I kind of think that we talk on a level where we don't have to use our words, but I feel like if you want to be like we are here, that I think that's absolutely doable to do that. I think that it's just a unconditional love place.
Mm, okay.
Home.
Okay.
It would be home.
Yeah.
What do you
Going home. During your readings, have you ever had anybody share with you like what they're doing there, or anything like that? It
a
like,
couple of times But you know, that to me is like, I have a couple of times I felt like there would be somebody that was greeting all the animals that passed over the Rainbow Bridge.
Mhm.
And they were very much animal people here. But to me, I have a hard time, honestly, to get that kind of validation. But if I get it that I think that they're doing X, Y, or Z in the spirit, then and they wanted to be a veterinarian, and that makes sense to me.
Gotcha. So maybe they're working on things that they were working on here. They continue to work on them there. And I know that when before my sister passed away, she just really wanted to spend time in the water. She wanted to go to the ocean. She couldn't do any of these things. She was bedridden, but she kept saying, I just want to go to the water. And shortly after she passed away, I was talking to a friend who is a medium, and she said, gosh, your sister told me that she gets to go swimming and she wanted to let you know. And I hadn't mentioned that to my friend at all, anything about what my sister said about how she wanted to go see the water. So I thought that was really nice. Like, she gets to go do this thing that she really wanted to do, and so kind of, oh, and I've heard, I don't remember what reading or if it was a family member of mine, but that they were working on some knowledge that they had started here and they were still researching or working on whatever that subject was. So it's like kind of there could be a continuation of the things that interest you here that you get to spend time and actually work on there, which I think is really cool. I never really thought about that
Right.
as
I
being
don't I
part of
don't
it.
want to I don't want to work when I go there.
Well, I don't mean, things that you want to learn about or
Right.
do.
Oh, I
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. Excuse
I
me, the
had
way I'm
no
chilly, so I look like a weirdo here.
reading one time where I thought it was the most bizarrest reading that I've ever done, as far as that goes, because I felt like I was trying to make a portal telephone to our loved ones here.
Mm-hmm.
And the person on the my client, it was a phone reading. That's exact. They were in science. They were in science fields, and they always said that we could always one day maybe be able to phone someone in heaven.
So the
So
person,
I say that it didn't make zero sense to me, but that's exactly the type of stuff that they worked on when they were here.
oh, interesting. So they were still working, they were saying that they were working on that while they were there,
Mhm.
passed away.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Do
Yeah,
you think
it was.
that Do you think that when we pass away and we go to this place, that we can decide if we want to continue living on Earth too, or go live other places, or go be maybe a tree or something else? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, that's kind of funny because something just came across my path in the last 2 days that, you know, when we die, we go there and we have this life review. It doesn't matter if you're
Mhm.
who or what we are, we go and have this life review of how what we did, bad or good, that rippled through the family or life or whatever have you, right? So everyone knows you have a life review. But what if this was our life review,
Mm.
right? What
In
if
what
what
way?
we're like, what if you just have to be the best that we can be here and now, right? I would think
Hmm.
that we should be the best. So I don't want to get up there and hear, God, you were such a whatever, or that was rude, or back in the day when you were younger. I don't, you know what I mean? I wouldn't want to see those things. But in reality, is if we could do what we need to do that's right in this world now, then I guess the life review would be passing it here. When you talk about in reincarnation, well, first of all, I don't want to come back. And
Well, and that's what I
two,
mean. Like when you reincarnate, do you think that you can go reincarnate somewhere else?
sure.
Maybe like different solar system or
Sure.
whatever?
Yeah, I absolutely think that we could do that. And also, in What Dreams May Come,
Mm-hmm.
his children had passed, and
Mm-hmm.
they had decided that they didn't want to come back at the time, but the mom and dad decided that they would go back. And the mom questioned it and said, well, how can we guarantee that we'll be with each other? Because we're going to incarnate, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to find each other. True or not true, it is how I think and will believe that it is, because it's positive, it's nice, and it's full of love and light.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And tell
All
our
right.
guys,
Well,
if I die, then I will tell you or your mom, and then you can come back to the podcast.
like that's such a big topic. We could honestly spend a whole episode talking about the afterlife. Maybe one day we will, but for now, we're going to move on to the next question. So, Terri, hopefully you've thought about this. Can you tell us about one of your most unique readings?
Oh, yes. I have thought about that because a lot of them to me are unique in their own way. But I would have to say the time that my body was taken over um, by what the spirit was feeling at the time. So, an unknown to me, I didn't know why, but my hands were trembling. I thought at first maybe I had Parkinson's. And then my head, I was just bobbing about. I was quite embarrassed about what was happening to me. It was
Mm-hmm.
not in my control whatsoever. And I
Mm-hmm.
kind of tried to explain it to them that there's back in the day, there used to be these little dog, Chihuahua dogs, or dogs that you'd put in the back window and their heads would bounce around when you drove down the road. And that's what I felt like. I felt like I was doing this. But
Yeah.
because I was unsure of my sign of what it meant, I thought I had Parkinson's. I thought I had, I don't know, Tourette's or something. But in reality, I then took a dive, so I kind of felt like I was leaning forward in my chair, and I'm like, oh my God, I feel like this is a plane crash. And it's exactly what it was.
Oh,
And as
wow.
I got to that point, I was like, holy crap, I just literally felt that. So, and that was years ago that happened. And then it surfaced again a few years later. But because
Mm-hmm.
I have signs and symbols, I knew what that was. And so I have done two
Gotcha.
of those.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
wild.
Yes, that was probably, that's, you say unique, that's unique to me because I seriously had
Mhm.
no control over my hands. I was like this, like, I mean, it was like,
Was the reading in person?
yeah,
Were,
yeah,
did
I was
the
there
were the
with me. I,
people watching you and going like,
yeah,
"What's happening?"
very disturbed. I was very disturbed because I'm like, I don't know what this is. Just stay with it. Just let me stay with it. But all the information I was trying to get with it, they were giving me no's. And then, but then I feel like I go down, but then I feel like there's a, like a, I'm absolutely sure
Explosion or something.
I wreck. Yeah. I don't feel like at the time I didn't feel like there's an explosion. I just kind of feel like I'm stuck. But and then I see
Mhm.
green tops, and then which funny because I say I can't see, but I saw those. Um, uh,
Mhm.
but the plane went into the trees.
Okay.
But yeah, it went down and it went in there. So that would probably be my most uniquest one.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Okay.
There's just a lot of things that I probably wouldn't want to feel in a reading, but sometimes that's how I do get it.
Yeah. I
Never
mean, you don't always get to choose.
over.
It just happens.
Right.
All right. And then the next question is let's talk about the differences between being psychic and being a medium.
Okay.
Mhm.
How I've understood it is mediumship is information and validation with evidential facts that
Mhm.
people, your loved ones, are on the other side. A psychic could be a card reader that's psychic and gets psychic information off of your energy, off your past, or psychometry people who do the same thing. But they cannot connect way up here to connect to the loved ones. But they'll know what you ate, maybe they knew where you went, or so that's psychic. So it's a matter of connection. But every medium is a psychic, but a psychic is
Mhm.
not a medium.
Okay. So when you go to see a psychic and they can tell you all about yourself and maybe even see into your future, where would they be getting that information from then?
It's psychic. They know, or they know. They have a sense of what it's coming in.
So maybe like, I'm sorry, continue.
When it happens to me, I personally have my own issues with the psychic side of it. Oh, I can do it. But I'm like, where's your validation? How do you know that if I say, baby, this, that's going to happen, this is going to happen? How do you know that you're paying me for that information? Right? So, me personally, I don't like it unless I can give validation. My validation is, can you validate this loved one that I have in here? Then I, Terri, feel more comfortable saying, I'm getting this information kind of validated from this loved one. That's
Mm-hmm.
my own little thing. That's my own little thing. Maybe it's right, maybe it's wrong, but it's my thing.
Right, because you feel more solid about the information because it's not just coming from you. You feel that it's coming from a source above or higher than you or someone that's connected to them. So, like a psychic reading where they tell your future, because I have had a psychic reading that was probably 15 years ago, and she told me stuff that's happened all the way until now, and it was completely accurate.
Mm-hmm.
So perhaps where she's getting that information is maybe like my higher self.
I
I
just
don't know.
think it's a knowing. We don't know how we know we know.
Yeah.
That's knowing, right?
Hmm.
Sentience, clairsentience. You're knowing something. That's where I think that comes from. But I'm sure that there's people out there that study it way more than I do. I just do what I'm supposed to do. But not being, I had a wonderful psychic, told me everything, told me I would move, told me I would meet my husband. And she did it through scrying. And that's something we'll cover later, but never, she was so spot on. I thought this lady was crazy, but she was so spot on, including my move to Washington.
Gotcha. Yeah. And the first time I got a reading was at like this little trade show, and I saw this lady. She was, I don't even know if it was a tarot reader, if she was just a reader. She didn't say she was a medium or anything, just come get a reading. And I remember thinking I was afraid to get a reading because I didn't want to hear anything bad. I didn't want to hear anything bad about myself, and I didn't want to hear anything bad about my future. And I was scared, right? But I was there all day because I was selling art at the trade show and she was selling readings. And so I kept seeing people go up and talk to her. And I was like, oh my God, I have to go talk to her. And so eventually, after I got up enough courage, I went and talked to her. And, everything she said in a loving way. There was nothing negative. It really was a good experience, right? And so, and it was the one that was super, super accurate. I think it's probably the best reading I've ever gotten. It was my first one, and I was so scared to get it. And, anyways, I just wanted to say that because if you go get a reading from anyone, whether it's psychic or medium, and they tell you something scary or something bad or something negative, I would say just don't return to see that person because, in my experience, that's not the way you get information from spirit. They don't do that to you because they love you and they want to give you information that is helpful, and not hurtful. And I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but just out to, tell me what you think about that. You have to be
Number
careful
one,
who you trust.
true. Oh, there's charlatans everywhere. But true. Code number one, do no harm.
Yeah.
Don't do no harm. And just like I read medically to some degree, I I really don't like that, but I can't say, oh my God, this. But I can say, I'm sensing something going on. Maybe you should go to the doctors. I wouldn't say that. And there's another thing that I very much I block and don't say to the living is something about cancer, unless they're referencing that there's an issue with somebody that had breast cancer, and maybe my client does have it or had it or had a removal or whatever, then that's different. But but I don't utter that word either. It's just like that. And if I say something wrong, then I think, oh, that might be my left brain trying to intercept and say something. But then I have to stop and think about, nope, this is what I mean.
Gotcha. And I
Not
just want to make, what?
Just don't harm anybody. Don't harm.
Yeah.
You don't
And
say.
if it's somebody good, they're not going to put you in a position that makes you be upset or scared when you leave. You know what I mean? So just keep that in mind. And if that has ever happened to you or happens to you in the future, just know that person might be full of crap, and they don't have the best intentions if they make people feel bad. So, just let it go if that happens.
With my psychic stuff, I don't know if I've made it up or if this is just the way it is, but I've noticed patterns. I like patterns. And so if I'm predicting something, it's usually 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months, 3 years. And I used to say a couple of years ago, no one's ever validated up to 3 years. Who does that, right? But recently, I've had 2 or 3 different people say, "Look, I've got this book, and you said this, and this happened." So
Nice.
it was like 2.5 years out. Okay, well, I'll take that. But I don't remember what they're talking about because as soon as they're gone, it's out my head.
Right. That makes sense. And what I've heard people say before is that you don't remember necessarily what happened because it wasn't you talking about it or it wasn't your information. It's just coming through you, so that makes sense. But I just wanted to make a note that you guys, we still are getting some feedback on Terri's side. We have been on and off, but she did get a microphone. It does sound awesome, but we weren't able to use it today because it was creating some other issue. But on the next episode, Terri is going to be with me. And so we won't have any technical difficulties and we'll get hers all figured out and squared away before the episode where she's at home again. So we do apologize for that. And, we're new and we just don't know how everything works perfectly, but we're getting there.
Well, I had card reading before we started, and they said that it would be slow and trial and error for the winter. But
for the podcast.
For the podcast. But the spring would be much better. That's where they say it. Which, I don't know. We'll see how that pans out next Friday.
Yeah. We'll have all of our crap together by spring. That's a long time. Hopefully we get our stuff together before that. But so we appreciate anybody who is watching this and following us, for going through the pains of getting started with us. So it's a journey.
Yeah. When we put out the part about the reflection board or whatever, there's about 7 or 8 now that want to do it. So still, I'm waiting to see if it grows. If it grows, we get a building. If it doesn't grow, I'm going to honor the ones that are on it. I'm just going to bring them here to the house.
Okay. And another workshop or event that I haven't even discussed with you yet, but I was thinking about is like a day where we spend with people working on our relationship with our body. And there's a whole bunch of activities we can do, and it's all about reflections on ourself. And it's really fun, but it's revealing and can be a little sad, but you really, anyways, I'll think about it more and I'll talk to you about it, Terri, and then we can present it when it is appropriate for whatever we are podcasting on.
What?
So next week we will be together instead of from our own separate homes, and we're going to have on our special guest, Janet Hickox, who is going to talk about astrology and human design and tell us a little bit about how our charts kind of go together, working together in the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be really fun.
Yeah.
And she's a local gal too, who's been doing it for 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot about astrology.
I know several astrology people, but she brings all the modalities in. And she knows it like she was born to do this, living astrology.
Yeah, I'm excited.
She does live Mondays and Fridays.
She does what?
She goes on live on Facebook on Mondays and Fridays.
Oh, okay. Live Monday and Fridays on Facebook. Cool.
Yeah, that'll be exciting. I can't wait to see her
Mm-hmm.
and see what she has to say about us.
Yeah. All right. Well, is there anything else you want to cover? That kind of a short.
No.
All right. Well, thank you guys. We love and appreciate you, and we'll see you next week.
From my heart to yours.